Hello and welcome to Deep Dive Film School. I'm Adam Sherlock.
And I'm Adam Poulter.
And if you like what you see / hear, please like and subscribe. You can find us in all the spaces and places that people what?
Where people find good media is what I've heard. Yes, so follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Those are our most popular platforms. So if you like what you see, please follow us there. Okay, let's get into it. This is our fourth installment of our Chamber Piece Festival 2009's Moon. Directed by Duncan Jones, otherwise known as David Bowie's son.
Yeah, the Zoe Bowie, I think, is what was what he was calling his son when he was a little baby. So
love him. He went on to do Source Code, which is a very reasonable, excellent movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. Warcraft, I guess. I never saw it. Yeah. And then some Netflix
TV
movie
show called Mute.
I think it's a movie. I don't know if it's a show.
Maybe it's, yeah. I don't know.
I never saw it, but it did not have good Rotten Tomatoes ratings.
No, it is weird. Like, I think when this came out, there was a lot of talk of like, oh my God. Like, because he also wrote this, right?
Yeah,
like, and so there was this real sense of like,
holy shit,
here's this new voice. Yeah. And I mean, not to say
I saw
that
at Sundance, I remember being blown away.
And not to say that he hasn't obviously had some successes, but I don't think it was what maybe we expected. I think there was an expectation of like, oh, okay, this guy is going to be like this up and comer that does a ton of amazing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, once you get your eyes on that Warcraft money.
Yeah, man, that sweet video game movie money. But, you know, I do think there is an interesting aspect I thought a lot about when watching this.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
It's been a while since I've seen it too. And obviously, you know, if your dad's David Bowie, there's some cachet as you kind of come into the world to do your art.
A little more privilege.
But I think one thing that's really interesting is in rewatching this, we open with this, it reminded me of something like Interstellar, where you have this almost documentary looking like in the year 2035, right? And it like lets you know sort of the backdrop of what this movie is about, of mining for this helium-3 on the moon.
Provides energy for the whole planet.
Right. And it's this sort of like
helium-3.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, helium-3. And it's this utopian futuristic idea. And the one thing where I would say it makes sense that this is David Bowie's son is that David Bowie, in a lot of his work, especially in the 70s, was kind of sci-fi-ish, right? He liked that. He liked this kind of science fiction-y, space oddity thing. But in most of his futuristic stories, they're cynical, right? Like Major Tom is a hero, but immediately in the song they're talking about consumerism and they're talking about capitalism, and then invariably like Major Tom dies, right? Because like his capsule, something went wrong on it and nobody can help him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of, and then later obviously in the record Scary Monsters, Major Tom in the song Ashes to Ashes is a junkie, right? And so you're like, oh, that same kind of cynical attitude towards a utopian future is very present in Moon.
Sure,
it takes us a bit to get to the cynicism, but I think that once it's
that's
there,
okay. I think you need that. I think you need to set everything up. You know, that Lunar Industries is the commercial that you know, and who's paying for Sam Bell to be up there, which is played by Sam Rockwell. And really, this is a very chamber piece movie. You're on the moon the whole time in this station, maybe going around the moon a little bit, but you are, I mean, what's more isolated than space?
The only other human faces that we see in this movie is Benedict Wong and Matt Berry. From What We Do in the Shadows, just fuzzily on a screen.
Yeah.
We hear their voices a little bit, but other than that, we've got one human actor and then
Kevin Spacey's voice.
And then Kevin Spacey's voice.
That's Gertie.
Yeah. Which Kevin Spacey is doing like a perfect HAL 9000.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nods to 2001.
Very much so. Very much so.
Just even the way it looks. This is actually, rewatching it, you can tell it's a pretty low budget movie. Like this was an indie back in 2009. I think he made it for like $5 million, which is not that much money.
Right.
But they were going to have all of the effects on the moon and the outside world be mostly practical, but a lot of special effects.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up finding that it was like 10x cheaper, like $500,000 versus $50,000 to just build a model and do it that way.
Right,
and
right.
So they kind of mixed both of those things and shot it over, I think, a handful of days.
And all the miniatures and all that stuff look great.
Yeah, it looks
a
awesome.
lot of the set actually came from, if you're a sci-fi nerd like I am, actually a lot of the sets were from the British science fiction show Red Dwarf.
Oh, okay.
And it has that look to it. It feels very THX 1138. It feels very much like there's a lot of parts of this movie that reminded me of the original Solaris. Because okay. I do think that once the mystery starts to unfold, there's a minute there where you're like, has Sam Bell lost his mind? Because one of the very first moments that we have of him being an unreliable narrator is that he sees these visions of this girl, not his wife, just this girl sitting in the chair or like sitting with him, or he dreams about her, and it causes him to kind of like question his own reality. So there is sort of a Solaris moment where you're like, what's happening to him? Has he lost his mind? Like, what is it that's going on?
A little bit. Yeah. You could also throw, although this was made after Moon, but, Ridley Scott's Martian with Matt Damon.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
There's a lot of that in here too, I think. Obviously that excels into more.
By yourself on this tiny little space station.
Yeah, you
kind of
have the castaway kind of element to this, which is the great part of all of these chamber piece movies, right? Is like watching people slowly go mad, basically.
Yeah, totally. We see this part, when we first meet Sam Bell, he's grown this like mountain man wispy beard out.
He's got 2 weeks left on his 3-year contract, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks left.
I love these little additions of like the leather chair that he gets to sit in. It's like it's like one of a handful of things that are not
like
sterile and white, right? Yeah. There's the weird little toothpick village that he's making of the town that he grew up in.
Yeah, it's amazing. Right? One thing I found too in my research was that this is supposed to be the year 2035.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
9 years from today. So
I mean, fingers crossed we can find that helium-3, you guys.
We're hurting.
Yeah.
But it is pretty interesting. They talk about, especially in that commercial, the power of the moon and the power of the future, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so his job is very important.
Yeah.
And so it's worth it to leave his family for 3 years to do this and probably come back and probably not have to ever work again, is my guess.
Part of what makes the for lack of a better term, the gimmick in this movie work is that even in this futuristic world, there is no live communication. Like, live communication is spotty at best, if even that, right?
Yes,
and so
there's a problem with the set.
Yeah, so he's watching recordings of his bosses. He's getting recordings of his wife
Family
and his
messages,
baby, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he can't actually, all he can do is also send recordings off. That's necessary for everything else, all the other puzzle pieces to work in this movie. If for some reason there was a live feed, the movie falls apart, right?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, Gertie is the most corporate yes man ever, right? I think we can say that about Gertie.
What a fantastic looking robot here.
That's really interesting. The emoji face.
Yeah, well, and he's tracking, he can only kind of move.
I was going to ask you, what do you think of the tech in this movie? Because the way Gertie moves around the ship is pretty cool.
It is really cool, and it's very again, I think that Duncan Jones had said his biggest influence was actually the 70s sci-fi movie Silent Runnings.
Sure, great
which
movie.
Those robots look a lot like Gertie. Like, they look very utilitarian. They look like they have gears and tracks that they run on that are very like not elegant, right? And I love the emoji face in this of Gertie, because it, Kevin Spacey, even before everything that came out about him, always did play very unreliable characters. He always did play characters that seemed duplicitous, or maybe are corporate yes men, or are fucking somebody over in some way.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Yeah, he was always great at it, even before we were like, oh no, he was barely acting.
Even now.
Yeah. But the emoji faces I mean, it did one thing to me that I think I've always known and I've talked about maybe a little bit, but like, if there's one thing I hate about the future that we do live in now, it is that if even the most horrible news that somebody could hear, somebody posts on social media, invariably at least one person you know will put a fucking crying emoji. It's like some horrible, horrendous thing, like human being died, and they're like, "Bear with a tear," and I'm like, it's the most insulting response to actual tragedy. And in this movie, when we are experiencing real horrible moments, the Gertie face going to a teardrop emoji.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, Duncan, you were way ahead of your time. Because 2009, like, Facebook had only been around for a hot minute, and you already were like, look at how gross this is, that this robot is like, I'm sad for you, Sam. Yeah. Like, you'd want to punch the robot. No like, doubt. Or it's like, you don't seem very happy, face. I'm like, I would strangle that fucking thing after a couple of years.
That's so funny.
It's just a fantastic use of that.
It really is. I hadn't thought about it. I did wonder, like, because I feel like people don't use emojis as much anymore now.
Right.
That if that's going to be dated at some point, that's kind of funny.
Even
though it's 10 years in the future.
If it's dated at some point, it will almost just be more effective to be like, of course, no matter how good the tech is, the government would just give you this crappy Kevin Spacey robot that gives emoji faces to try and keep you company for 3 years with no other human beings.
For sure.
They're good enough at cloning, but they can't do that.
So I want to talk about Sam Rockwell for a minute.
Yeah.
Because, I'm massive Sam Rockwell fan.
Same.
He's always been...
Since Green Mile, baby. Just amazing.
Green Mile, what's the Men movie?
Oh, Safe Man.
Safe Man.
Oh, he's so good in Safe Man.
But, he's always played side characters, and here he's really the heavy. And
totally.
I kind of forgot this is a duo role. I don't know how I forgot that because it's like the last half of the movie.
Totally.
But I could...
Dual role, yeah.
I could watch him read the phone book, right? Like,
totally.
I love him. He's just got this snarky kind of like funny personality. And again, like I said, I saw this at Sundance, so like it was in the point. This was like at the point of his career where I'm like, I'm gonna watch everything he's in. I don't care if it sucks.
Yeah.
And there's a few stinkers in there, but like overall, he's just amazing. But after this movie, he's really started to get a little more popular, and went on to do bigger things and whatever. But I've just always loved him so much. His performance here is so good. It is. I really love how Jones really kind of, there's comedic moments for sure and some funny things that happen, but I wouldn't really call this a comedy.
No.
I'm really glad that it stayed a drama though, because you could lean too much of them playing off of themselves a little more, and they definitely do that a few times, but they don't overplay that hand. I think it's actually perfectly balanced, and I don't know, just a fantastic performance by him, one of his best.
I also think something that I forgot, I'm sure I knew it in the moment watching it, but I forgot about it watching it this time, is that we follow Sam. He's only got 2 weeks left before he gets to go back home.
2 weeks, buddy.
2 weeks, buddy. You're almost there. And, he's definitely at his wit's end. He hallucinates. He thinks he sees this girl. He burns his hand. And then he has to
himself up this whole movie.
Yeah, and then he has to go back out, right? And he goes back out in the rover, and there's an accident, and then he wakes up in the infirmary. What I forgot is that the him waking up in the infirmary is the new him, and the guy that we followed up until after he burned his hand and then left in the rover is the one that gets found. And I don't think that I made that or I think I forgot that was the case. While watching it this time and being like, oh, that's so interesting, because Gertie asks him, what do you remember? And he's like, I don't remember anything. And I thought to myself, like, okay, obviously they woke this one up early because the other one got in an accident. But I'm like, but is this the way they always wake them up? Do they always wake them up by saying...
We don't know that.
Right. But it would make sense. Obviously this one got woke up early. There was a glitch, but you're like, but...
They assume that one's dead, bring out the new one. Jumping back to kind of him at the beginning, us hanging out with original Sam, And just, you could see he's at his wit's end already. He's super lonely. He's got all these hobbies like you're talking about, talking to the plants and all of these things that you or I would probably be doing after 3 years after a while too. And so you can understand it. He's excited to go home. He gets that message from his wife. It makes him feel better. But like, man, you just start feeling so fucking bad for Original Sam after a while. Not only because he starts just absolutely deteriorating after the crash.
Yep.
And it's a slow deterioration. And you're like, but like even before that, he burned his hand, he hit his head on something, right? And he was watching something on TV or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, but like he was already fucking himself up before that.
Totally.
And then he got a concussion and just was worse and worse and worse and whatever. And it's just, he wakes again. And to your point, like, I think the giveaway that I noticed this time when he wakes up is that he doesn't, we leave him inside of the thing. We don't know how long it's been,
right?
But he has a big cut and is bleeding, and none of that is on that new Sam.
Right.
So was it long enough for him to heal? Has it been that? They just don't tell us, which is part of the fun, right? Is figuring out the mystery.
And it's interesting too that new Sam is suspicious really quickly, because new Sam hears what he thinks is Gertie actually talking to his bosses, right? And this brings me to another point. If I and I haven't done this for a long time, but if I may, I'd love to put on my Professor Bullshit hat for just a second here.
I miss Professor Bullshit. Yeah.
So there is this theory, and it started back in the 80s, or not a theory, but sort of a thought experiment, a paradox that's called the teletransportation paradox in science fiction. And it's really interesting because it's different than what we talk about when we talk about something like Blade Runner, right? Where you're talking about implanted memories, in a robot or an android,
or a
right?
Clone,
or a clone. That this is something different. That the teleportation paradox says, if I had a device that could make two of you, right? And it does make a clone, but it makes a clone with all of your memories and everything else. Are both of you now? And here's the important part about the paradox. For how long are both of you? If I could keep both of you in this room, right? And I could be like, we're all going to listen to this record together. Then you're both still original Adam, because you're both experiencing the exact same things. But if right after I did the teletransportation and there were two of you, and one of you sat here and did the podcast with me, and the other one went upstairs and watched a TV show with my wife, are you still the same one? Because now you have original memories that are separate from one another. And that this movie is a perfect encapsulation of this paradox, because old Sam that went out in the rover and crashed, all he knows is that he's Sam Bell. All he knows is that he's got 2 more weeks on this job. That's all he knows. New Sam Bell immediately is suspicious of Gertie, doesn't know what's going on, goes and pulls open that hatch and actually fakes a leak to be able to go out and find out what the hell they were all talking about.
Yeah.
And you go,
they're to force Gertie to let him out.
Yeah, they're different characters. Just from those couple of different life experiences.
I mean, it's a great
right?
question, Professor Bullshit. I question that watching this movie, absolutely, because, when he wakes up from the crash, not the new Sam, but the original Sam, when he wakes up, and because he goes out and basically finds him and brings him back in, and and but he's like in this like Top Gun uniform almost.
Yeah, there's aviators
in the corner
down.
with the aviators, and he's like, Gertie, is there someone in the room with us? Like he doesn't know if this is his imagination, or if that's a real person, or if that's him, and they slowly find out. And original Sam, it takes him a while to realize that he's a clone. He asks, what?
Yeah, he's unwilling. He's unwilling to believe that. Whereas new Sam,
Gertie tries to hide it from him as much as possible too.
And new Sam never questions the fact that they must all be clones. Like, he pretty much buys it immediately of like, this is bullshit. They've set us up. And you just go, if they both started with the same raw materials.
Yeah, I wonder if, I mean,
how interesting is that they became such different characters so quickly?
Yeah, he probably didn't think that before he went out to find.
Yep.
To find him.
But right? Once he finds him, he's like, who is this? What's happening?
Yeah, no, it's a really fun conundrum to put them in. And as an audience member, just so fun to watch. And them, they don't really like each other, honestly, which is kind of part of the fun.
It is.
But it's the first time either of them have had to deal with this and come to the realization of this. But they also kind of are buddies, and they like figure out the mystery together
begrudgingly.
But like, I think it less so near the end.
Well, there's that moment where they get into this fight and he's like, what the hell's wrong with you? I barely touched you. And his nose just gushes blood everywhere. And he's like, what's going on with you? And that's where he starts to show actual concern for him.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. Yeah. The dichotomy between the two Sams is super interesting. I love the ping pong match.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is so great. And the fact that they are comparing
He's been there
notes.
3 years playing. He's like, I
got it, dude.
You're not getting anything past me.
But they're comparing notes about the town they grew up in. He's like, oh yeah, that's the such and such house, and that's the such and such in the model that he's making. And there's this really interesting moment, again, talking about how the memories have etched and their experiences are different, is old Sam, original Sam says, new Sam says, you did all of this? And original Sam says, I only remember doing these 3 houses. I don't remember doing all of that, but I must have.
Yeah.
And the fact that he so easily can put that away as not an issue, you go, is that a deterioration of the clone's mental capacity, right? Like, does the new Sam, if the new Sam was immediately suspicious, is it because his neurons are firing a little bit at a higher level?
All great questions.
Than the Sam who's pretty much 2 weeks from falling apart completely.
For sure. So yeah, he finds these videos. New Sam finds these videos of like, I want a divorce, and that just makes original Sam even worse, deteriorating. He has nothing to live for anymore.
Yep.
And it's just really interesting to that's when he really starts showing empathy and sympathy towards him a little bit, kind of like what you were talking about earlier. And it's the deterioration is really interesting.
It's like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly.
It is.
His teeth are falling out. His hair is falling out.
Feel bad. It's just getting worse and worse. And
he's walking around like a drunk guy. Like, he's just is falling apart.
It's watching original Sam like figure out and accept that he is actually a clone and these are implanted memories. Even though he knows it, he still doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
And like, there's proof right in front of him. And
this realization of the escape pod that's supposed to send him home is the most heart-wrenching part where you realize, like, it's a fucking incinerator. It's not a pod that sends you back. I mean, it gets rid of everything, but like he feels
we see it fly away at the end.
Well, that's the actual escape hatch. I mean, the one that he thinks that they keep putting the Sams into that just burns them up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And he sees the ashes on the edge of the tank.
On top of the videos, I think it's original Sam who finds these videos of all the other versions. Dying, and they get the log.
And granted, like now this kind of goes to my other point of, like, a lot of them are because they've been, like, really damaged or hurt, and so it's like, oh, we got to get you back to Earth real quick, buddy.
Sure.
And then they just burn them up like it's just an incinerator. Like, that is
it definitely looks like an incinerator.
It's such a
but they do find that secret room underneath.
They find the secret room underneath, and it's massive, right? I mean, it is tunnels on tunnels on tunnels of
You're
just
like, how big is this place?
Sams,
it's like buried into the moon.
Yeah, man. I mean, if the plan is, we need a dispensable worker who can do this job over and over and over again, and we just need for 3 years to have a couple of, low-level ding-dongs to keep him happy and make sure he does the job.
Monitor him.
Which is funny, too, because, like, in retrospect, now that we're talking about it, I'm like, the sterileness and the real kind of like bleakness of being the only human up there doing this job, and you're like, this is supposed to be the future, and like they have this rust bucket robot that is there to like, you know, Floby your hair and give you haircuts and shit, right? and like it's just the most like rundown looking place. You're like, well, yeah, because they don't give a shit about him because he's not a human,
yeah,
right? So like, yeah, here, make your matchstick village. Like, we don't give a shit, right? Because they're totally unconcerned with his attitude or morality because he's a clone. Yeah. Right. And so it makes sense that they're like, he doesn't have anything more fun to do up there but playing ping pong and shit.
For sure. And at a point in this whole investigation where they do find out more, they crack up a plan. They ask Gertie to, you know, at a certain point, I think where Gertie's no longer talking to them, talking to the main base anymore, does the opposite of HAL 9000 and actually helps them a little bit.
It's true.
Puts in the password, creates the third clone so he can escape and have his own life.
Well, because it's all off the map for Gertie, right? Like, Gertie has programming.
I'm here to protect you.
Yeah, he has programming that he's supposed to do. And so you talk about paradoxes. Here's a whole other one, which is to the AI, protect Sam Bell. And it's like, well, shit, now there's two of them, right? And it does make you realize that it was probably messing up Gertie's like psychological inner workings anyway, fully knowing that one of the Sam Bells crashed out there in the rover, and now he wakes up another one, and it's like, well, I want to go out there and see what's out there. And he's like, you can't, I have to protect you. There's got to be some little nugget in Gertie's head of like, and there's another one out there I was supposed to protect, and now I can't.
Well,
right?
and the original Sam Bell, I think, too, probably starts putting those puzzle pieces together more once he knows he's a clone, because you see like the glitch of the video, and I think it might be Benedict Wong. You don't really see a face, but it's like someone turned away and they say Gertie's name, talking to Gertie in a different, different way. It's just like you hear this weird noise, and he's like, is someone else? You know, he's just kind of like, what's going on? But like, I'm sure he starts piecing that shit together. But he's also deterring at the same time. So his care factor is more about his family and his daughter and never seeing them again.
And is the girl that he sees, is that that he thinks he sees in the hallucination he has, is that his daughter?
No, it's Tess, his wife. What do you mean?
No, when he thinks he sees her sitting in the chair. It's not. She has black hair. I don't know who it is. Maybe it's supposed to be his daughter, or maybe it's just a hallucination.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But yeah, it's really fascinating, like, that they hatched this plan, and, you know, even though original Sam now knows that he's a clone, he still wants to try and contact Earth and talk to his wife, like, more than anything.
They want to escape, and he's supposed to go out on the pod, right?
And he wants some kind of an answer, right? He wants to go out, and he has his really shitty, you know, version 1 iPad that's in that weird like container thing. And then that's where he ends up talking to his daughter, who's now a teenager, and mom's dead, has been dead for years. And then we hear,
she's like, hey, Dad.
And we hear Sam Rockwell. We hear real Sam Bell.
So good.
Who to me is like, if there is an actual villain in this movie, it's not.
It's Lunar.
Well, it's Lunar, but to an extension, it's also the original Sam Bell that we never see, that we just hear.
Yeah, did he sell himself?
He had to have.
I mean, to clone him, they had to have, unless they just took him and they're just giving. You know,
I mean, I guess
if we don't know why she's dead, you know, she could have killed herself because he never came back.
Because he never came back,
or whatever. You know,
That's true.
It could be a lot of different things. What did he actually do? But then they bring him back and say, no, he's alive the whole time. But yeah,
my cynicism, I'm like, he sold himself.
They cloned her dad back home too. That's fucking wicked.
Maybe. I think that is to say it this way, the Sam Bell is the one that we never see.
Who
that
are
we
they
just
sending
hear.
Messages to?
I think that
they brought him back after 3 years.
I think that's the original. I think that's the original messages from 14 years ago.
Yes.
And they just kept them, and they were like, holy shit, we've got a great idea here. you can sell, you can you know, you think about
Set up your family
think about the
life.
actors who have sold their likenesses to AI. This is basically that, but they made a flesh and blood version of it. Still has the memories, and they're like, we just got to string these assholes along for 3 years before their bodies finally fall apart. We put them in the incinerator, burn them up, wake up a new one. Hey, you're at the start of your 3-year thing, and then they just show him videos of his dead wife for 3 years.
Just do it over and over and over.
When you say the whole thing out loud, it is so fucked up.
It is. And there's a few redeeming moments. I think one of them is when he's out putting him basically back into the other crash
the other
site,
rover,
so he can be the second one, and the new Sam can go and live his own life.
Yeah.
But as they're sitting there and he's kind of slowly dying and saying you're the one that needs to go, he's like, what are you gonna do? Like, and they talk about traveling and going to Hawaii or Mexico and all this stuff, and it's just like this really like tender moment.
Yeah.
That, you know, these are still just two clones talking to each other.
And the new clone knows he doesn't have a ton of time.
Yeah.
Right? Like the new clone is looking, like new Sam is looking at original Sam, and he's seeing his future. Right? He's like, oh, this is me in like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Like this is where I'm going to be.
And then the other two redeeming moments are him before he leaves resetting the harvesters, who are all named biblical names, by the way.
I did notice that, yes.
But it knocks down the towers that are blocking
The
everything
jamming
and releases
things,
all this information back to Earth that we kind of get like a news snippet of what's happening at the end here. But I think also when he's actually riding through, old Sam, who we think is dead, wakes up just enough time to see it
go over. That's a cool effect.
It's a good closure for him because he knows, hey, at least he got away and it's gonna live our life. Well, and then also when he's riding and it's changing colors, he's like, wow.
Yeah, he's like having a thrill.
Yeah.
I will say again, to go back to the cynicism of this corporate future, I love that. Yeah, when we see the craft going towards Earth, and we're getting this sort of like audio montage of like, oh my God, Lunar was covering this stuff up, da 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 da. The last
line of the movie.
Yeah, the last bit we hear basically is like, oh, I don't like, it's a hoax or what? Like they like, you know, and I'm like, yes, because
right wing pundit.
Yeah, but it's perfect. I'm just like, that is still so much of like, no, like trust the corporations. They have our best interest in mind, right? True. And I was like, yeah, that is a perfectly cynical ending to this movie that really is like, it does so much with this paradoxical idea of like what makes us us, right?
You know, I don't know how interesting this people walks us trying to figure out what's actually happening, because I don't think anyone has all the answers necessarily.
Right, yeah.
And so it's fun to dissect, and watching it, you feel bad, but it's kind of this fun mystery.
Well, you never see it from anyone else's perspective.
Self-reflective
exactly, because we only ever see Sam's perspective.
Yeah.
So whatever actually happened, we don't know, right? Like, what was Lunar's whole point in doing this? I mean, we can assume
power the Earth.
Well,
make money,
and we can assume again, to go back to the AI thing. I mean, you know, the AI companies today, when they talk about how amazing the future is going to be, it's because they don't need human labor anymore, because humans are the most expensive part of running a business, right? So if you can just you get AI to do it, all the better. And in this with Lunar, it's basically what they did, right? It's just a flesh and blood AI that has implanted memories. That's this clone, and they got acres of them underneath the moon, right? Yep. And so it's free labor because they can just burn up the employee when they're done with them.
Sound relevant? But anyways, it is what it is. We I'll say, hell of a fucking debut movie.
Oh man,
awesome movie.
It is. And I think that's why like the mark was so high
for him.
That, like, he's a successful director in Hollywood. Is
he going the Richard Kelly route though?
Well, nobody goes the Richard Kelly route. The Richard Kelly route is insanity. Like,
it's a little wild, but
I don't think it's not quite there. No. But it is just that he's and this is what worries me about somebody like, you think about somebody like Zach Eggers or
Dave Eggers.
No, Zach
Kreger.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. I mean, that's it though. You think about somebody like Zach Kreger.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's made 2 amazing, incredible movies.
Horror movies too.
And you know what his next one is? He's doing Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, I did see
and
that.
I'm like, no, God, let these people make
Another
their
video game
original
movie.
shit, man.
Just like Warcraft.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so that's the fear, is that it's like you're this fresh, amazing, new, unique voice, and they're like, "You want a franchise?
You
kid?
can do anything."
And you know, luckily, you can still do what. God, I'm just forgetting everybody's names today. Like, luckily, you can still do what's his name did with Knives Out.
Oh yeah.
Right, where you can
Ryan Johnson.
Right, where it's like they gave Ryan Johnson Star Wars, right? And he apparently made everybody on all the nerds on planet Earth hate him. And then he was like, okay, how about this? And then created amazing, unique, beautiful, fresh things. And so maybe that's the hope here, right? Is that maybe Duncan Jones will be like, screw the paychecks. I want to do.
The real hope is that Resident Evil is fucking awesome.
I would be. Listen, I loved playing the video game. There's been a lot of really bad movies made. It's
hard to do.
Yeah. So
do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. That is technically the end of our Chamber Piece Festival with Moon. We are going to do a bonus episode. We're going to do a Forgotten Gem with Willem Friedkin's Bug. Yeah. That's a mid-aughts movie.
Yeah.
And so we'll be doing that to close out the festival if you want to join us. And of course, we always have our That One scenes that we do every other week.
Yep.
So join us for that. Hit like and subscribe if you like us. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, that's the best place to follow us, where our most active channels are. So we'll see you there, and see you next week.
Bye, you guys.
Thanks.